Okay, welcome back. Chomesh and Rashi, Parsha Shmini, the third reading. Let's get right into it. Interesting. This is inauguration day. Rosh Chodesh Nisan, the first day of the month of Nisan. And Aaron, the high priest, and his sons are being inaugurated into the kahuna, to being a kohen, a priest, to serve. And the following happens. A fire went out before God, and it consumed on the altar. So the ascent offering, and the fat, and the entire nation saw this. That fire came from heaven. And they sang in praise. Right? They sang in praise, but Yarai knew that's what, like my name, Roni, Ron. And they fell on their faces, meaning prostrating themselves. Rashi Yara in the Targuma Izoklu says, and they praised. And they took the sons of Aaron, Nadav, Abihu, Nadav, and Abihu, two sons, Aish, Machtal. So each person took a fire pan, V'yitnu by him Aish, and they placed upon it fire, V'yasumu Aleya Keteris, and they placed on the fire pan they placed on it incense. Yakriv leaf Hashem, and they brought it close to it before God. Eish Zara, a foreign fire, some that they were not commanded to do. Teitze Eish. Look again, the word here it says Teitze Eish. A fire went, and now another fire went out. Hashem from before Hashem, and it consumed them. Yamus, and they died. Hashem before God. Rashi. Teitzeyesh, and a fire went. Rebbe Lazar says, that the sons of Aaron did not die, Ela al Yidei Shahir Halach B'Pnei Rabban, Moshe Rabban, but for the fact that they rendered a halachic decision in the presence of their teacher Moshe. Rabbi Shmuel, he argues, he says, they were intoxicated with wine. Nichnasu Lamikdash, they entered in the sanctuary. How do you know that? Because right after their death, Yizaru and the Sarim, that the remaining Kohanim were warned, they should not enter intoxicated by wine into the sanctuary. That will be after this, right? We'll see. So he's saying because it's juxtaposed, so obviously they died because of that reason. The Melech, this can be compared to a king, Shaya ben Bias Hulu, that he had a household member. He said ben Vayikra as stated in the Medrash. Vayikra. Okay, very interesting Rashi that to take apart, but that's what Rebbe does, but not now. And Moshe said to Aaron, "Who Hashem? This is what God spoke." Moshe is now speaking to his brother, his brother Aaron, his two sons just died, right? So Moshe said, this is exactly what God said. With those who I'm close, I will be sanctified. I will be sanctified by those who are close to me, nearest to me. From all of those of from all before the people. I will be honored. God will be honored, he's saying, right? And Aaron was silent. He didn't say a word back. Let's see. Interesting verse. This is exactly what God spoke. Where did he say this? Rashi asks. I mean, It says in Exodus, in the book of, what does it say? It says, I shall meet there with the children of Israel, and I will be sanctified through my honor. Al tikra b'chvaydi, do not read the word with through my honor, ela b'chvaydai, but rather with those who, through my honored ones. In other words, remember there's no vowels in the Torah, so the sages say you could read this word in a different way. It doesn't mean through my honor, God's honor, in other words, but through my honored ones. Right. So Moshe continues, Amar Moshe to Aaron. Moshe said to Aaron, Aaron Achi, Aaron, my brother, I knew she's Kadesh Abayis that the house would be sanctified. With those who are very close to God. Hayisi Sabra, I was under the impression it would be it would be either me or you. Right? We're the closest to Hashem. That's what I thought. Now I see that they're greater than I and you. Right? So this whole thing needs to be understood because in the previous verse, right, it said that they came with a foreign fire, and they died, right? And now we're saying that they are the honored ones of God. They're the more, if you will, privileged. I know privilege is not the right word, especially today. But greater, right? They become greater. How do you understand all of this? It needs to be understood. But this is what Rashi is saying, right? Clearly. Yidam Aaron was silent. Kiboschar, he received a reward because he was silent. In other words, he accepted what happened. He accepted what happened. You know, this is the original place where the concept of God takes the good ones, right? Well, they died and they were closer. That's what Rashi is saying, or Moshe is saying to Aaron in his conversation with him. And he was silent. He accepted what happened. She says, yeah, so what did he receive as a reward? She says, that God directed to him alone. To alone the next section of the Torah that speaks about not coming into the sanctuary intoxicated. Remember, was Rabbi Shmuel's opinion of why they died. If they were intoxicated, how does that make them greater? Seemingly less. All these are good questions, but not for now. For my chosen ones. Next, Kabed, I will be honored before the entire people. When Hashem passes a judgment against righteous Isyare, he is feared. And he's exalted. And he's lauded. If so, with these, he carries out judgment against the righteous. Kosher can be shame all the more so with the wicked. Likewise, it says that God is feared from your sanctuary. Don't read the vowelization. From your sanctuary, but rather from your sanctified ones. In other words, your holy ones. Those that are holy, that's how people get the fear of God, meaning when he does such a thing, taking their lives. Vayikra Moshe el Mishael, and Moshe called out to Mishael, Elad Safan, and to El Safan b'nei Uziel, the sons of Uziel Doid Aaron, who is the uncle of Aaron. So now there's first cousins he called of Aaron. And he said to them, Kirvu, draw near, Se'u Isachechem, carry your brothers Me'ez Pnei HaKodesh from the before the holy outside of the encampment. In other words, they died, so they're take out the corpse from there, right? He's telling the cousins, right? It's his first cousins. Rashi, Doid Aaron, Uziel, Achi Amram. Uziel was a brother of Amram. Hayashinemar, B'nai Kahos. Right, so we learned that earlier, the beginning of Shmos. Um, so, and this is the sons of Uziel. Well, Amram, of course, is the father of Aaron and Moshe. Uziel is a brother, so it makes an uncle to Aaron. And his sons, that means his first cousins, right? And the first cousins are taking out a first cousin once removed, right? To the two of them. Suisachechem, carry your brothers. Like a friend, like a person says to his friend, it's amazed when remove the corpse from the presence of the bride. Show the Abba is a simple not to disturb the rejoicing. If you have a wedding that's going on and someone died, remove the corpse so the wedding can continue, not to take away from the joy. So same thing is over here. This is the inauguration day. This is Rosh Chodesh Nisan that happened. Right, when Aaron and his sons are being inaugurated into the service of the sanctuary. So that's a great joy. Don't let the death overtake that and bring it out the bodies. So it should not disturb the celebration of the day. It's pretty powerful. Okay, I'd love to continue, but we're gonna go. Oh, okay.